Hey, what's going on, guys? I know I haven't uploaded in about 2 weeks, and I apologize for that. I've just been busy with things in my personal life and haven't been on the computer quite as much lately. So, that being said, let's get into the topic of this video, and I hope you enjoy. So, today I wanted to talk about how balance is ruining multiplayer games and just games in general. And what I mean by that is you see a lot of games nowadays where they're so concerned about being competitively viable and about being quote unquote balanced and fair that they cut out a lot of features that could otherwise be enjoyable, or they dumb down certain features. And what I mean by that is look at any of the recent Call of Duties going as far back as I'd say Modern Warfare 3 way back in 2011 was that? Or go to any of the recent Halo games, whether it was Halo 4 or Halo 5 or even Halo 3, I could criticize the 4 that did this. And you look at all these games, and there's a thing you'll notice about the multiplayer, and it's that every single weapon is designed to be just as useful or useless, depending on your point of view, as the next weapon. Most weapons in those games aren't really good to use. Now, I know in Halo you have power weapons and things like that, but even those, over the years, as we look at them, have been dumbed down significantly. And you'll know what I mean if you've played Halo 1 versus Halo 3. You take a look at the Halo 1 rocket launcher, and if one of those rockets flies past you, the guy next to you, and everybody else in the room is basically dead if you're in a smaller space. If you look at the Halo 3 rocket launcher, it feels more like an anti-infantry weapon than a weapon that's made to destroy vehicles and aircraft, because you can really only kill one or two people with it at max. I'd have crazy kills in the first Halo game where I'd get 4, 5 kills at the same time with one rocket blast, right? And the same thing goes, like I said, for Call of Duty or really a lot of games. All the games I started noticing with Call of Duty starting in Modern Warfare 3, all of the guns felt similar. They felt the same. You'd have a really fast shooting gun that does low damage per bullet, or a slow shooting gun that does high damage per bullet. And it got to the point where every gun felt more or less the same, and it seems like nowadays, fast and slow doesn't even have much of a difference. Most guns just shoot about the same speed, roughly, give or take, or at least they shoot about the same speed to the point where it doesn't really make a difference. Now, we see this in the Halo franchise as well. I've been doing book reviews on my channel lately, and I've been talking about, some of the story and my opinion on the Halo novels. And if you read the novels, plasma weapons are depicted to be significantly deadlier than they are in the games. In the games, they feel like Nerf guns. You're shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting, and the frickin' thing overheats in your hand, and you still didn't kill the enemy you were shooting at. In the expanded lore, they're supposed to be a lot more effective against basically everything. And I feel like games nowadays, more than ever, just try to play it safe all the time because they don't want to be seen as unbalanced. They don't want to be seen as overpowered, right? They don't want people to quit because certain things are more stronger than other things. And that happens anyways. No matter how hard a game dev tries to do that, and something I've noticed that is over or underpowered depending on who you're facing on the other team, is spawning. No amount of weapon tuning or changing the way weapons work or nerfing them or buffing them, no amount of that actually makes the weapons any, or actually makes the gameplay any less or more fair in the end, it seems, because nowadays you play games and everybody's spawn camping. I went and played Battlefield 4 the other day, and the entire game I spawned in and got killed by a sniper that had been camping in the same spot the whole game. And it was bad, and I think part of it is because people take multiplayer games more seriously now. I remember years ago, most people only played maybe, 3 or 4 hours of a multiplayer game in a sitting. You get people nowadays where they do that all day. And there's more and more players that play like that, so they kind of get to know where people spawn, and they get to know, how to basically play. I mean, I'd say play the game, but more play the system of the game. Play the game, exploit certain attributes of the game. And I think that's a bigger problem now than ever. And that goes to what I say about being competitive. Games nowadays, especially, as I said, more talking about multiplayer here, but multiplayer gaming has become so focused on over competitiveness and grinding and challenges and just trying to, grind and grind and grind to complete a challenge, with Halo, or to get some stupid loot crate in Call of Duty, and it's just so not fun. Like, games aren't fun anymore. I remember many years ago playing games like Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original, not that new crappy one, the original from 2005. And in that game, things were really, really unbalanced. Like, everybody knows that the main guy, the main default guy in that game with the laser assault rifle or whatever it was called was the most powerful overall. But that doesn't mean that the other classes weren't fun to use. That doesn't mean that blowing up one of your friends with the laser bazooka or rocket launcher thing, whatever it was called, wasn't fun. That doesn't mean that using the commander's recon droid to sneak into the enemy base behind enemy lines and blow yourself up and, piss off your friends and they don't even know where you came from wasn't fun. And the same thing goes with the vehicles in that game. Some of the vehicles were just really cheap and they were basically throwaways. Like the speeder bike was basically a throwaway vehicle. You got on it, rode to the nearest command post, and tried to take it over. Then you had other vehicles that were absolute behemoths and were practically indestructible, like the AT-AT or the ATTE. But they were, on the flip side, they were extremely slow. They weren't balanced at all. You could slowly, on the Geonosis map, you could slowly march your way up to the end of the map on the other side by the enemy's command posts, and you'd still have half your health left over, right? Like I said, they weren't nearly as balanced, but that's part of what made the game fun. Not to mention the Jedi in that game were so overpowered, but again, that's what made it fun. When a Jedi came your way, everybody started shooting at them. When an ATTE came your way, everybody tried to take it down. And it was a common goal about just trying to play the objective. The gameplay forced you to play the objective. Nowadays, it's all about a grind. If the game was developed today, the ATTE would have some kind of weird time limit on it where you could only be in there for 30 seconds, or it would have a fraction of the health it did in the original, and there would be some kind of stupid challenge like kill 25 Geonosians in 3 days, and then everybody would be trying to do that instead of trying to capture command posts or whatever else. And it just wouldn't be nearly as fun. It wouldn't be nearly as, open. And that's a thing that I think games have really forgotten. They've forgotten how to be fun. They've forgotten how to be open-ended. I remember growing up when I was a really, really little kid, like I'm thinking the times of the original PlayStation. I never liked video games. And I never liked them because, as a general rule, most games, at least that were available on the PlayStation, were very linear. You were essentially told what to do all the time. You essentially had to do one task: collect this amount of coins, go here, talk to this person, go there, kill that person. And that's just not fun. To me, that's just basically a walking simulator with some mediocre levels of violence or character interaction sprinkled in. And that's not fun to me, and that's what multiplayer shooters are becoming these days. Like I said, think about all the challenges. Think about all the quote-unquote balancing and competitive viability that so many developers are pushing for. And in my opinion, it just creates a toxic, unfun environment. When I come home from work, I don't want to sit there and grind challenges on Halo MCC. I don't want to get spawn killed over and over and over again because somebody's trying to kill farm so they can get that new helmet or whatever, or that new weapon skin or something stupid like that. I just want to come home and relax. And that's why I made a video about a game that came out not that long ago. Well, actually, it came out almost 2 years ago now, but I had gotten it that not that long ago, called Brass Brigade, and I talked about why that was interesting, because basically the premise of it is it's a multiplayer style shooter, but the entire game is offline and you fight against computer bots, and it's actually quite refreshing to play, to not get spawn killed as soon as you spawn in, to not have someone, shouting at you over the mic, telling you suck and whatever else, to not have this hyper over competitiveness to it. And that's the thing. I feel like being able to just mess around and play with games, that's what makes games fun. And to the people that enjoy competitive games, to the people that enjoy cranking things up to the harder difficulty, more power to them. But I feel like nowadays games are being catered to those people too much so, to the point where, like I said, they've just forgotten how to have fun. For me, Halo 1 has one of the best multiplayers that I've ever played. And it's not because the game's balanced. It's not because the maps are perfectly symmetrical. They're not. They're not at all. It's because it's completely unfair. It's completely random. You could spawn in, get blown up as soon as you spawn, but not in a bad way. Because then you'll spawn in right behind the enemy that just blew you up, and then you'll throw a grenade at him and get a random triple kill out of nowhere. And then some other enemy will come behind you, shooting his pistol as fast as he possibly can, and then drop you, and then 3 of your buddies will empty their inventory of grenades onto him. And it's just crazy. There was all sorts of crazy fun, and again, no balance there, but just loads of fun. And I think that's what we need in gaming more nowadays. We need games to be fun again. We need to make gaming fun again, because nowadays it seems to be all about the grind and all about the competition. And that's not what I play games for. I play games to have fun and to relax. So that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you for watching, and as always, please stay safe. Have a great day.